Back in 2019, my buddy Sam Crack bought this rather burnt Ferrari 430.
Alright guys, this is take 4 Radarosa video with a real, genuine Radarosa.
But despite looking horrendous at first glance, on close inspection the damage was contained mainly to the rear right quarter, leaving very minimal damage to the actual engine. The fix would then mainly be cosmetics and wiring problems, and with only 10,000 miles on the clock with a cheap price tag, well, it was absolutely worth saving. Now, after a couple of visits of mainly me working on the car while Sam stood around chatting, well, we got the car back up running and driving.
Before we drain the tank, I gotta go drain the tank. It drives.
My job here was done, so I left Sam to finish off making the exterior look pretty and to enjoy his bright red Ferrari, while I flew off back home to fix my very own also damaged 430. But Sam, being Sam, was not content with still having problems with the F1 gearbox. After pleading with me over several weeks to help him and even sending me a cockpit, well, I eventually jumped on a plane and once again came to the chicken farmer's rescue. The plan here was simple. We were going to convert the 430 from its flappy paddle F1 system to a much desired manual gearbox, thus getting rid of all of the troublesome components that were still causing problems and taking it back to a beautiful 6-speed gated manual. First of all, a few details. We're going to be using the awesome Cambrio Manuale conversion kit. This retails around about $15,000 depending on your configuration, but contains all the components that you're going to need for your conversion. And with Ferrari announcing that they won't be making any more manuals, and if you want one, simply buy an older model, plus the massive premium you pay for a manual 430, this conversion makes total sense. The other thing to mention here is we're going to be doing the installation ourselves. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm mobilizing it.
We are back, baby.
First job was somehow to get the Ferrari over to the chicken farm where we were going to perform the conversion. A few quick fluid checks around the car and I somehow convinced Sam that he would be fine to drive it there. You guys can't hear this, but Sam is driving this 430 in second gear, and the maximum we can get out of it is 40 miles an hour, and he's doing about 5,000 to 6,000 RPM. Everything is overtaking us. It won't go beyond second gear, so this is what we're left with. Car's a little bit sketchy, and well, we're gonna make it. This is how our day's going right now.
I know you gotta vlog this, of course. I told you, I'll go home, I'll get the trailer, we'll just move it on the trailer.
He who dares doesn't win.
Yeah, and he who dares with other people's stuff loses them their Ferrari.
Fortunately though, we had got lucky. All that smoke was caused by a loose pipe connection that had then emptied coolant all over the red hot manifolds. First drive has not gone quite to plan. The rear screen is a little bit smoked up anyway from the previous fire. I don't know if you can see it's calmed right down there, but it's still smoking back there. It's hot as hell as well. But I think part of our problem was these heat covers they put on the manifolds. This is literally drenched in coolant, and so that's where all our smoke's coming from, all the heat from that. Well, you got a tiny little whisper coming off now, but as soon as we start this up again and that manifold gets warm, that is all gonna smoke straight away. Thank God it wasn't another fire from fuel. So we reverted back to the original plan and trailered the Ferrari over to the workshop. Now, talking of annoying things, no, my other irritation. Now I'm talking about the other real annoyance, robocalls. You know, the ones where you pick up the phone, hear that click, and then that dreaded, annoying, pre-recorded message. And I'm sure, like me, you wonder how these guys even got your number. Well, apparently the answer to that is data brokers. And these cowboys sell your number to other companies to build these aggravating call lists. But here's something even more concerning. You've all seen those deep fake videos. With the rapid advances of AI, the latest scam enables them to mimic the voices of friends and family and trick people into sending money. And these imposter scams rely entirely on voice data, which nowadays they can find online. Huge loans have been taken out in unassuming people's names without them even having a clue. So how do you stop this from happening to you? Well, Incogni puts an end to these problems. You see, Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requesting that they remove your personal data and handles any of their objections. And the whole process is automated. Incogni also keep your data off the market by doing repeated removals, taking it down if it happens to show up again. This obviously makes their yearly subscription particularly beneficial. And all it takes is 3 simple steps. Number 1, create an account with just the bare minimum of personal information that's needed. 2 is grant Incogni the right to work for you. And 3 is the best one. Just kick back and watch them work their magic. So take your data back with Incogni. Head to incogni.com/Ratarossa or simply click on my link in the description below the video. Use code Ratarossa and you're going to get 60% off an annual plan.
I really can't wait to see you later.
Clearly another one of those AI scammers. I ain't falling for that. So we got the 430 up on the lift. Now, one thing, the most important thing for me at the moment is to try and figure out why this car is really smoking. Now, obviously we have a bad pipe up the top, coolant pipe, but it's leaked over these header blankets. Now, I am not a big fan of these anyway. We've got some beautiful headers there. Now they're just clipped over like this onto these little hooks. So I'm just starting to remove it and you can see, look, where this has been in the fire. It's all just disintegrating up here, look.
Oh wow.
It's gone horrible.
Ugh, that's insulation. You don't
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are Fab Speed headers. Just put a bit of degreaser on there. Let's have a look. Yeah. Bad blanket removed, and well, it is absolutely soaked with coolant and whatever else on there, and it's really disintegrated. Now it's obviously got a lot worse as I've taken it off the car, but you can just see where that fire has damaged it, and well, it's definitely better off the car. Quick cleanup later on and this lot will come up looking mint. Next we needed to remove the rear bumper to gain some access. In order to perform the manual swap, we're going to be focusing on 3 areas of the Ferrari. To start with, we're at the rear of the car and it's an actuator swap, installing the shift cables and removing the old F1 system. We're going to be removing all of this actuator here and ideally just taking it all off in one hit. Can we just get it over the top there?
Or this is official. This is the part that automatically shifts the car. We're going back in time.
Yeah. This is the easy bit, removing it was what, 1, 2, 8 little nuts. The hard bit is removing all the covers around it, the heat shield. So we should be able to hopefully clear these cats.
And I've done this.
The other thing, like on the 360, we know we can clear the cats.
Yeah. Ooh. Please don't make us remove the cat. The new one is much smaller, so that should just go right in, but.
So annoying. Like we could have, if we knew this, we would have removed the cat.
Cats
And it would have
earlier.
made the other job so much easier. We struggled. We figured out a bit of a, hopefully a cheat. We've undone all of the bits here, the cat to the manifold, and now we've managed to flex this thing up. I think we've got enough movement to get this off. It's just got to clear this cat here. Let's see, shall we? I don't want to wreck these nice cats. Yeah, that's cool. Look at that. Is it just these?
It's just two on the
These two
side,
sides,
yeah.
yeah.
It should just wiggle left and right. Look, there.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest style connector in the world, and you can even hear it clicking.
Yeah. All right, so on this side, this is basically our selector fork, or our mechanical selector fork from the F1 system. And that, let me get some light on this. There we go. And that is the inside of our gearbox. And then depending on the position of this pin here, so this will move up and down, front to back, and that will select our gears over here, up and down, position here, and it will just push these forward and backwards. And we are just going to be replacing this mechanical system with a manual one.
Yeah.
With the actuator removed, we've had a bit of a cleanup, and before we can install the manual mech, we have to remove a few studs. So we've got to remove these two lower ones here, this one here, and I believe this stud over here for the bracket. With our cheap stud removal tool on the wrench, that job was surprisingly easy.
I'm an expert with the RTV can. What do you think? I made it a little thinner here. I've bondoed many a car in my time.
You can have the honors.
The honors.
Yeah.
Goes on like this or like this?
No, other way.
Like this.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, I mean, it's on. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, good.
I just wanna. There we go. Now
Right,
we
now
put a
you
couple
want
nuts.
see if
What
you-
size were these? 7s?
Huh?
Were these 7s
Yeah,
or
I think there's 7.
I lent you that 13.
That hasn't changed though since my
Ratchet
first
and you-
visit. You're bitching and moaning.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you left that 13 in my engine bay. I'm gonna drive off with it. It's gonna fall in the gearbox.
Probably the least of your worries. With the manual shift mechanism now installed, we're ready to remove the old remaining F1 system, which consists of the hydraulic actuator, which we've just swapped out, the complete power module with all its solenoids and hydraulic lines, the F1 pump system, and finally inside the cabin, the F1 TCU computer module. Now, it's very important to remember two key things here. Firstly, the kit is fully backwards compatible, meaning should you wish to put the F1 system back in the car, there's no cutting required here, there's no modifications, you can simply re-bolt it back into the car. The other option here is though, you could offset a massive chunk of the cost for the manual conversion by simply selling your old F1 kit, making this conversion very, very cheap and very desirable at the same time. With that cleared up and explained, we are now quickly going to bolt on a support bracket for the new shift cables. Then it's onto the inside of the car where we first need to remove the factory rubber grommet that allows us to install those shift cables. So Sam's up on the lift in the cabin with the cables. I am going to be down here. I'm just going to feed you what I can through the hole. Okay, so we do one at a time. Now, this is the easy part, and then we've got a big kind of bushing right there that literally, just wait a sec, that's it, that's called, mate, it's much easier. This is so much easier than doing. Okay, so we need to, hold on, let's game plan here. Keep it right to one side. Okay, so this is the tricky bit. We've got to get the second one through. You see this bit here? We've got another one of those that needs to get through this tiny little gap. Tricky job, this one. First one goes through, no problem at all. The second one, as I showed you, we've got the kind of a little bit of a kind of metal thing around it. And that is about the same size as that hole. There's not much difference. And when you've got one cable there and trying to get it through, it's a bit of a nightmare. Now, that's all done. We are now trying to figure out what is the orientation. Does this black cable go above or does on the bottom? Okay. Back into the cabin where we're going to be installing the most exciting part of all, the manual shift tower with this shift gate and that classic clonk clonk. 4 bolts and that's in place, and then we need to reroute the shift cables. Now these run underneath the handbrake lever, and with a few bolts removed, that job is also nice and simple. A quick test to check it's all working, and then we need to feed the cable through the shift tower, which requires removal and refitting of this slightly larger fixing. And the 2 cables hook into the bottom underneath there. Again, real simple. With the cables installed through the rear cabin, it's real simple to pop those into the bracket. Now, you might notice these cables are quite close to the axle shaft. That is totally normal, and actually it's the same as the factory setup. Now, at this point, we're about halfway through the install. Not long before we get to try this thing. Next, we're heading to the front of the 430 and focusing on the master cylinder install. First of all, to point out that the body of the pedal box is exactly the same between an F1 430 and a manual 430. Ferrari just add a blanking plate to the F1 cars where the master cylinder normally sits. So all that's required is to remove that blanking plate and bolt in the new master cylinder supplied in our conversion kit.
Look, so this is the fitting that goes on top of the master cylinder here, and your hydraulic line will run off of it and go back to the slave cylinder. But what's really important is that there's two crush washers, one up top and one at the bottom, and you gotta get in the tight quarters we just worked in, and you don't want to drop this. Now, if you ask when you're ordering one of these kits, the guy that assembles it will throw you an extra one, okay, for free, okay? But you gotta ask, but try not to drop this. I'm just gonna keep my finger in there. I've done it once before, so I'm good to go.
Grow the fingernails, yeah?
You're gonna want an extra one, okay? But and if you ask in the comment section of the order, they will give you one extra one totally free. Can we get that commitment? One extra one for free. Put my name in there. They'll hook you up.
Now this bit is a bit tricky and a bit fiddly. You're trying to fit a banjo bolt where there's very little visibility, so you're doing it mainly blind with touch and feel alone. However, having a second set of eyes on it really does help.
Let me zoom in. Between the silver. Oh yeah, I can
gold
see.
one.
Do it again. Yeah, there's one on the bottom.
And don't forget to install those copper washers both top and bottom. Okay, the next crazy mission is I'm going to take this panel off to run the line from the front of the car to the back of the car. Now, I cannot actually believe the amount of bolts in here. I'm going to count them up in a minute, but that is absolutely insane. Absolute 100% essential tool for this job is one of these. Next up, I'm running the line all the way down the center of the car here. So what I'm going to try and do is just remove one of these bolts, just tuck it up there. I might get lucky, I might not. It feels pretty solid. Anyway, let's see how we get on. Okay, we got lucky. Look at this. So we pull that one down. We tuck that right in that perfect little recess next to that conduit and bolt it back up, move to the next one. That is the full under panel back in place. What is it, 64 screws, 64 bolts. Anyway, job done.
Hopefully most of the fluid's already come out at this point. We might get a little dribble. That's why we've got a nice little sheet underneath us. Watch it come pouring out and it goes everywhere.
I think the way you got this tilted towards me.
Oh, no, it's... Ooh, okay.
Okay, now this, basically...
We're gonna delete that line.
I'm gonna delete that. Let me just get rid of that. Remove that and that, so that can drip.
Yep. So this is the hydraulic line that'll bring pressure to our clutch pedal. Can you thread it a little quicker?
Can you moan a little bit more?
All right, that's in. Now we need to lower the car and get rid of the slack.
Okay, so we have a lot of slack, as you can see here, at the engine side for this clutch line. So there's Sam's legs. He's in the front trunk. He's going to try and pull it as I feed it through. Go. Ah, nice. Perfect. 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 A little bit more, please. Right there. That's it. This is what it takes to install the pedal. I've become a bit of a contortionist. There's not much room under there. And as you can see, Sam is sweating. It's a hot job. It's hot out here. Very hot. It's about 100 degrees. And yeah,
This is if you want to get this perfect, it's probably one of the more difficult steps. Still, the concept is simple. The angle at which you're working is not, but if you're a smaller individual or you happen to know a little person, this could be a very simple job.
Over to Sam to explain how to install the new clutch pedal.
Side of the car, you can see exactly where our master cylinder hangs out of, which is pretty cool. All right, I'm just gonna slip the boot over the master cylinder, the clutch pump shaft here so we don't lose it. Then I got the little nut that came off of it originally. To get the brake pedal removed, we're gonna have to slide it off the shaft here. That bolt is what holds the entire shaft together. It looks like a 10 millimeter, and it is. All right, there's our bolt. Behind the brake pedal is this shaft here, and it's held on with a bolt that has a nut on this side. I got a little ahead of myself here, but I unbolted this bracket that's holding the brake pedal position sensor right on top right here. It just held in with 113 millimeter bolt. When I did that, it allows me to pull the brake pedal all the way out, so it's no longer being held on the rear shaft there. It's just being held on the top one. And now all we got to do is get this entire shaft slid over so that we can get the brake pedal out of the car, and then we can put the clutch pedal and the brake pedal on the shaft. So now all you'll have to do is take your pedals and a few shims that come with the kit and slide them onto the pedal shaft. With everything in place, it's now time to bolt our brake and clutch pedals back to their master cylinders. But since the clutch pedal is new, it's important to set the travel distance of the pedal. I took the measurement that was listed in the install guide and marked it on a scrap piece of wood, and then I moved the pedal to each end and I adjusted the stopper and just tightened it. Once it's set, you should be good to go. Just make sure to put back any hardware you originally took out. It looks like it's going in, yeah?
It is going in. Okay, that's actually decent. Well, we're just gonna fill this reservoir up with some fluid and see if we can bleed this. I'm going.
I remember when this hydraulic fluid, this very famous green can hydraulic fluid, if you've owned a Mercedes, like an S-Class or anything with that hydraulic suspension, you've had to buy this. This used to be 10 bucks at the auto parts store. I'm dating myself because now it's like $39.99 for the same can. Of course, I ordered it online, got it a little bit cheaper than that, but we're just gonna use a touch because this reservoir is very small. We wanna make sure that we're not overfilling anything. Now, we're gonna have to bleed it, so we're gonna probably add a little bit. But this basically just has to fill the reservoir and the fluid line that runs the length of the car.
Red in the line here.
So basically, yeah, this is really how you want to bleed one of these since it's fresh. It's the first time we're taking all the air out of the line. Oh, I think I just ate a mosquito.
How'd it taste?
Scott, you know this. The F1 fluid is basically automatic transmission fluid. It's red.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
So see, it's red in here. And that's because all the automatic transmission fluid is coming out, which is F1 fluid. We're now changing it to green, and we're using this pressure bleeder, which will make our lives a whole lot easier versus pumping the clutch pedal, which would be a lot of pumps because it's a brand new system of fresh line with no fluid in it. So basically we need to do this until we start to see green fluid come through.
And there it is right there.
All right, so with the shift tower all in place, we just want to make sure there's no restrictions to any of the gears. Now, it's not hooked up to the transmission currently, so these freely go in place, even down here in reverse. But if you come a little closer, when we hook up those cables to the transmission, we actually got to make sure that the shifter is sitting right there in between the gates. The first set here, between first, third, second, and fourth, it's got to be sitting right here. That will allow the cables to be in the right position. There might be some minor adjustment at the transmission after that. So if you're by yourself and you have to do this, you could stick in like a piece of rubber right in the third to fourth gear shift gates to hold this in place. But since we got 2 people, I'm gonna hold this exactly where we want it while Scott goes and hooks the cables up to the transmission.
All right, so with Sam in the cabin holding the gear shift between 3rd and 4th, what I've just done is adjust this connector here to line up centrally with the hole here. So a little bit of a kind of rough guesstimation. There is a little bit of a play there, but I'm gonna just hook the hardware back on and we're gonna just run a test. That hopefully should be the center part between 3rd and 4th. This lower cable, we've done the same kind of process. We've put it into the optimal position on the selector, and now I've just centralized this and we're just about to test all gears. Sam, do you want to run through them slowly and just make sure we've got a nice clunk between the 2 gates?
We want to make sure we can get in all the gears, right? So here we go. 1st, 2nd. Let's try reverse real quick. There's reverse. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And I'm doing it hard again because that's kind of like the Ferrari way. They want you to be able to hit the tip of these gates here to make that clunk noise. So you don't have to do that. You could just shift the car normally while you drive it, which is probably what a mild-mannered person like myself would do. But if you're a hardcore gated manual driver, you'd power shift it like this, and you'd wreck your transmission. But you will not wreck your manual kit because this is all made out of... What is this made out of, Scott?
Strongest material on earth.
Everything feels all right. I mean...
Go on, do the pedal again. Looks good.
Now here's what I want you to do. Go
What about the
close
front?
the reservoir up front.
Yeah.
We'll turn it on. We'll see what happens. It might not. We don't... there's a defeat module. We're deciding whether we do that. We flash the computers or whatnot. We're going to get a warning on the dashboard, but besides this...
What about the little jumper? We need that little jumper, don't we?
This jumper is going to go right here. There you go.
All right, so the last thing we've done is just unhook the connectors from the TCU. We've plugged in the little bypass module
Jumper.
and...
We should be ready just to test it, just to start it up and see if the wheels spin when we put it in gear. So you want to see?
Let's try it.
All right. Now the dashboard, normally where it would show neutral right now, it just has a dash through it. And there's different ways of programming things in, out, or otherwise to display other stuff on there. Maybe we'll get to that later, maybe we won't. But right now we just want to do this. All right, starts, that's good. It's in neutral, so the wheels should not be moving. All right, here we go. I'm putting my foot on the clutch. First gear. It's out. Is it spinning?
Yay!
Very good.
All right, give it a little tiny bit of throttle.
Foot's back on the clutch. Now look, I'm gonna hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Reverse. Ready for reverse?
Okay, reverse.
All right, cool. We're in reverse. I'm hitting the brakes again because we have the brake pedal off. We want to make sure the car will stop. And now I'll go into a higher gear. We're in fifth, so it should spin a little quicker. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All good.
All the gears shift.
Dash looks okay. How's the clutch feel?
It's great.
Clutch
It's got a
feels good?
little bit of that resistance to it.
Yeah.
Not super stiff.
Travel feels all good.
Travel feels pretty short, which I think is
And it's
pretty
coming up in
factory
line with the
Ferrari.
brake pedal down there.
Absolutely. It's really nice. Nice
Sweet.
kit.
Very nice.
Super
man.
simple install. Not a single curse word during the entire thing.
The celebrate
That's funny.
celebration
He put-
horn.
They don't sound like that from the factory, do
Do
they?
it again. Yeah, they do.
He installed that. Come on.
That, 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 that is, yeah.
My 360 doesn't sound like that. That's awesome.
That's a typical Ferrari
Is it?
horn, yeah.
It's beautiful.
One final decision remained with the manual conversion, and that was whether to retain the 430's eDiff or simply remove it with the supplied bypass ECU and have it run without any eDiff, such as you see with the Ferrari 360. Both options were available, but Sam has decided he's going to drive the car for a little while before making that final judgment call. With all that said, the final thing to do was to take this manual converted 430 for a drive. Guys, this 430 manual conversion is absolutely incredible. It drives way better than I thought it was. It's been a very long time since I had a 360 manual. And, well, just getting back to that clunk of old school is something really, really special indeed. I'm now considering putting one of these on my 360. It was really quite easy to do, and now I've done it once, a second one would be an absolute doddle. Anyway, we've got a few things to button up here on the interior, some bits on the engine over there. Obviously it made complete sense on this car because we had so much of that F1 system that was burnt. Putting a manual conversion really was an absolute no-brainer. Anyway guys, I've got to say a massive thanks to my buddy Sam Crack for having me here over in Florida, baking away and enjoying fixing up some of these lovely cars. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the conversion, and I'll catch you all very shortly in the next video. Until then, stay safe and ciao for now. I'm going for a shower.